My name is Nigel Blower. I'm partner at InSource Technology Solutions. Been a consultant for about 25 years now. I've actually, similar to Ken, had a background originally with Accenture as a management consultancy. I've worked with Accenture in Europe and in the States. I've been in the States now for about 17 years. And my background is in large-scale project management, making sure that companies can deliver solutions, complex solutions on time, effectively, and drive the business value from the investments that they've made. My company InSource, I've been with InSource now for approximately 8 years. We've got a focus on making sure that companies get their IT strategy in order, that they can define and deliver their IT solutions, and that they can then manage and run their IT operations effectively. So we've been partners with MWA now for about 6 months. Very excited to have this opportunity, and very much looking forward to the future of the relationship.
Hi, my name is Ken Staker. I am the President and CEO of Soliton Solutions, and we have now been partnered with MWA for about 6 months as well, working on the Forza application and deployment. My background is in IT management and consulting. I started my career with Accenture in their SAP practice, implementing SAP in the large enterprise space. I have run my own consultancy company for about 15 years now. We service clients in the Fortune 500 space on large ERP implementations, and then for the last 5 years we have also been a partner with SAP in the small to medium-sized market, implementing SAP Business One for companies up to $750 million in revenue. I worked as the CIO for a regional contracting company. That was really my first introduction into small to medium-sized business. It was a great opportunity for me to work on the business side instead of the consulting side. We did an SAP implementation for that company and got to see how implementing ERP impacts an organization that's running as fast as they can go. So it was a good experience for that. I really enjoyed working in the small to medium-sized business. When the opportunity came to come to MWA, I was excited to be back in that space, to be able to bring leading-edge technology to the printer and copier industry. Kind of marry that with the background of ERP. So glad to be here. So the printer copier industry, from what we've learned about it, a very interesting industry. I think it has a unique history. These companies have grown up and expanded. To me, the opportunity to bring an ERP into this market is huge. Like many industries, I think they had such a unique business model that there were kind of homegrown systems that developed and expanded, and as the market grew, they grew in sophistication, and as wholes were realized, there were all kinds of pieces put together. So you go into some of the larger companies now, and you have this mix of all these applications that are kind of pieced together, holding together. The trouble is, in an industry like this, where you have huge disruptions now coming to the market, print going down, all of a sudden there are new markets that the companies need to expand into. They don't have the capabilities. They can't be agile and change rapidly enough and be effective in that. So it's one of these perfect storms where you have a great industry, lots of history, great revenue generation module or history, but now they need to change and they don't have the capability to do it. You marry that with a company like SAP that owns the ERP market, that can bring world-class technology that enables companies to change. All of a sudden, all these pieces that needed to be addressed can be addressed in a single cohesive ERP that brings you all the things that you need to expand and to meet the needs of your customers. To me, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and I think it's going to provide a platform for companies to be able to grow, for the dealers to be able to grow more successfully and to communicate more effectively, because the way that the information is stored and reported is going to be a whole lot more consistent, and you'll be able to understand measures like profitability in ways that they haven't been able to do before. And so even beyond just looking at this from a systems perspective of saying these systems are old and are going to be unsupported and are going to go away, we're going to be able to replace them with something that is just a quantum leap ahead of where they are now. That said, there's some pain associated with doing it. There's a lot of these systems that people have they've had for a long time. They've grown attached to them, and so making that replacement is challenging, I think. And so it's incumbent on us to be able to define the process that we can make the process of transition of going from the old to the new as standardized and as riskless as possible, making sure that we can anticipate any of the challenges that a company is going to face as they move on to the Forza solution. Maybe I can start on this one.
Sure.
So I think we both joined with NWA around the same time, about 4 or 5 months ago, and I've seen a dramatic change in the way that NWA is operating. And I think some of it is simply, it's hard to know at the beginning of an initiative like this. It's hard to know what you don't know, and so NWA knows the processes really well. They know some of the technology. This is a new solution, and so being able to really understand what they have and how to think about rolling this out effectively is a tough thing to think through. And I think the thing that Ken and I have been able to bring from our personal experiences with large rollouts in the past is, how do you think about making sure you've got a stable solution that you can really set expectations appropriately with the clients, and then be able to resource it. And I think internally, one of the challenges is the size of the communities that you roll out to is pretty disparate. You can be in a fairly small organization where one person can pretty much effectively roll this solution out, and then in other organizations such as Advanced, where we are, they have a sophisticated IT department, they've got a broad set of processes, a large number of systems. It requires a slightly different set of disciplines to be able to roll out, and I think we've been able to discuss with MWA and see MWA put significant investment in making sure that there's a scalable process now to be able to roll this out effectively, and make sure there's real stability. We understand what can be rolled out at what point in time to clients where everybody's moving very quickly. There's a lot of moving pieces, and I think we can help make sure the puzzle is understood before it rolls out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think from day one, coming into MWA, I was captivated with Mike's vision.
Right.
You know, he clearly sees where this industry needs to go, where MWA needs to go. With that vision, there were, like you say, pretty much every part was moving. The industry was moving. Our customers are changing what they're doing. They're having to reevaluate. The platforms that they are used to existing upon are changing, going away, or modifying, or disrupting all kinds of ways. MWA is reinventing itself to be a whole new company, to be an ERP delivery company, a business partner with our customers in a whole new level that we have. And so all those pieces changing at the same time. Change is difficult anyway, but with everything changing at once, there are bound to be lots of challenges. And I would agree with Nigel that from the day that we both arrived, and I think it was the very same day that we both came in, there have been enormous improvements, changes, and to MWA's credit, they have been able to adapt quickly. There's lots of challenges ahead. There's lots for us to do, but I think that we have shown an ability to affect change within our organization, so that then we can drive change with our customers. So
yeah.
there's great opportunity that way.
I think some of the specifics that we've seen is, one, strategically, we're seeing a better understanding now that we think of Forza as a total solution. Forza is not a bolt-on or an add-on to SAP. It's a total solution where SAP is the powering of the Forza solution. So it changes the way people think, and then the way that the tasks that we ask people to do. I think a few months ago it was common for one person to be doing pretty much everything on one particular engagement, and it's just not a scalable process going forward, because you can't expect one person to know everything on this. One person can't be successful doing all the things that need to happen at a client. And so now we're building up, both with more training and more investment in resources internally and a better understanding and definition of the internal processes, we can say, yeah, now we have many people who are skilled in particular business processes that go to make up the whole solution. So it allows us to think about now rolling out to many clients at one time, as opposed to being constrained to, we can only go one at a time through the industry, which it's not going to cut it, right? We need to be able to roll out to many people over a fairly short period of time in the next couple of years. I think for me, I see this as two primary areas of focus. There's being able to define a very clear template for how we take this solution to market, and that template's got to involve not just the standardized solution, but how we think about moving people's data, how we think about training people, how we think about deploying it effectively. So as we get that template in place, we also have to be able to have a delivery capability that can take this out to a very disparate group of customers all over the United States, potentially broader, and be able to roll it out to them effectively. And so from an InSource perspective, I'm excited to be part of both of those areas. I think the area that we can really bring to MWA is to help that rollout capability, being able to bring resources to be able to make sure the deployments are effective, going through a repeatable process with very consistent set of results, again, across a customer base that's pretty diverse and challenging. So I think, personally, what I'm looking to bring to this, to MWA, is again, similar to Ken, my experience of being through complex rollouts, what kind of processes work, which ones don't, and being able to do direct project management with the larger scale clients that require a significant amount of attention to make sure that the deployments are successful. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that over the next several months.
How to bring this all together. MWA is in a transition phase right now. We've been focused on designing and building a Forza solution. That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of expertise in-house. We've been bringing the pieces together for that, pulling the knowledge that we need from the industry to do it. We have to go through a transition now where we change from this construction phase to a deployment phase. The demands from the customer base on the industry are huge, and we have to be able to react to that. We have to be able to react quickly. And so I think that there's a transition that's already happening where inside of MWA we're having to focus the skills that we have to get the people aligned with the processes, to leverage all those skills, so that we end up with this solution center of very deeply skilled, very talented people that can be then the base that we use to build going forward. The partnership that I see with Nigel and InSource will really augment what we're trying to do internally, and give us the capability then to scale up and be able to deliver our products effectively to the marketplace. Two really side-by-side, simultaneously transformations that need to happen, and I think with this partnership we'll be able to accomplish that. I think the things that I'd like to bring are my background and discipline from coming out of the Big Five consulting and the large enterprise implementation. We need to learn internally as a company how to apply those disciplines, how to put in process and accountability so that we can scale and learn how to implement and support our customers going forward. And then having gone through this process, you know, the sky's the limit. I'd like to use our hospitality background to take the same approach, the same type of solution into new markets as well, and I think there's tremendous opportunity for it.